his minister, Professor, has been in talks with the Israelis, but they were not sure of what the rewards that they are going to get in normalization. And as you know, people are saying Burhan is just a continuation of Bashir's time within the civilian rule. And he went through with the same thing and met with Netanyahu in Uganda. So practically it is a true story that is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And even when Pompeo, the Foreign Affairs Minister of America, visited Sudan last month, he was pushing very hard to see Sudan standing together with Bahrain and UAE at the White House, but he couldn't make it. So it is a true story.
Okay. And talking about the Sudanese Justice Minister Nasser Aden Abdel Badi, we do understand that he will be meeting U.S. officials present in Abu Dhabi to discuss the removal of Sudan from the list of states sponsoring terrorism. Do you think he will actually succeed in this?
You see, to be very frank with you, the story since the Burhan met in Netanyahu in Uganda, it has been going in rounds. It has never stopped. People were discussing it at all times, and there were a lot of meetings. And there is even a rumor that says after the floods devastated Sudan and the economic situation and Corona, the Prime Minister Hamdok felt very weak and gave the green light to Burhan to continue with it. So, although he said to Pompeo when he was in Khartoum that I am not entitled to give this, it has to be after the people's government becomes in control. But people are saying that Sudan doesn't have trust that America will fulfill its obligations. It has done it before. She said, let South Sudan go. We will take your name from the list. They didn't do it. They asked them to release people. They didn't do it. So anyway, people don't have trust. So they said to the Americans, you take the first move. I think there is a deal under the table that there will be a sort of a $10 billion financial support, some of it as grants, some of it as loans for 10 to 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be some support of oil and wheat flour from UAE for the coming 3 years. And they are asking the list of sanctions, as Sudan is no longer a status sponsor of terrorism. And they are asking that there should be no legal cases against Sudan, especially in issues of the bombings in East Africa and the call in Yemen or 9/11. So there is a talk about this that it is going to happen, and the minister is there to put all those things into international legal statements so that this time America cannot go off the hook as it did it with the previous government. But I think it is going to happen. You see, previously the mood wasn't strong for normalization with Israel, especially Sadiq al-Mahdi.
Mm-hmm.
The Ummah party is completely against it, saying we are the people who have previously and continuously supported the Palestinian cause. We will continue supporting it. And the Communist Party is also against it. There is some Muslim Brotherhood against it, but the majority of the Muslim Brotherhood are following Qatar and Turkey in closing their eyes for the normalization. And people in Sudan, generally, the mood among the people is that, yeah, we have just came out of a revolution, of a human rights revolution, and we cannot allow our brothers, the Palestinians, to be continuously abused. But also at the same time, there is another argument that is now making this possible, to be very frank with you. There are people who are saying, hey, why are we the Sudanese wanted to become royal more than the king? Egypt, who has fought Israel twice, is now normalizing. Even the Palestinians normalize going to Oslo, UAE and Bahrain, Mauritania, Morocco, the lenient Omanis, and others are actually normalizing under the table. Why are we so adamant on this? Let us live our life. We are living a difficult financial situation. We are deprived from international trade. Let us do something. Let us live our life. When we are strong, we will continue fighting for the Palestinian cause. So the argument is now becoming stronger for normalization.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Algin, let's now talk about supposed Sudan's request to the UAE as well as the US to provide Sudan with economic aid. So, besides
Yes,
the possibility of Sudan being delisted as one of the nations aiding and sponsoring terrorism, they
yes,
are requesting a $3 billion humanitarian, so-called humanitarian assistance, as well as economic
yes.
aid from the US and the UAE. Do you think they are in turn being compelled to enter into a normalization deal with Israel?
Yes, 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 yes. Actually, there is no doubt about it. You see, Sudan is a weakling now. Sudan is a weakling now. Sudan has been pushed to the brink of bankruptcy by the previous regime associates who are pushing the dollar higher and higher and higher, fighting government economically. Corona has come in the last 6 months and pushed the economy back. The floods that have devastated Sudan have put Sudan in a very difficult situation. So Sudan now is very weak. It cannot but accept any financial aid from whoever.
Mhm.
And this is why I'm telling you previously, let us say 6 months ago, the mood was against any normalization. But today, after those difficulties, these financial difficulties, the mood is changing even among the population.
Doctor, we also understand that ties with Israel, it's a sensitive issue in Sudan. And in February, when Al Burhan met the Israeli Prime Minister, PM Benjamin Netanyahu in Uganda for a secret meeting, that meeting was highly condemned by Sudanese protesters. So, if we assume that the so-called normalization deal would go ahead with Israel and Sudan, how do you think the Sudanese citizens would react to that?
No, definitely there will be riots in Sudan, but they will not be as big as after Burhan went to and met Netanyahu, because between the travel of Burhan and today, and the economic difficulties, and the normalization between UAE and Bahrain, so Arab countries have normalized. Things are a bit different now in Sudan. Let me put it to that way. That will be, let me say it is 60-40. There is before, at times of Burhan meeting with Netanyahu, it was 60-40 against.
Mm-hmm.
But I think today it's about 60-44. So that will be always Sudanese. Ummah party, the whole Ummah party is against normalization. It's a big party. And actually there are other parties, the Communist Party, all the socialists are against this move. So there will be a big fight against it. But the majority are now with it, I think so.
Dr. Algani, we have run out of time, but thank you for your time this morning. Thank you for this engaging conversation.
Thank you very much.
That was, of course, Dr. Abdul Karim Gibril Algani, a former politician and a political commentator, talking about a high-level delegation led by the head of Sudan's ruling council being in the UAE to meet with Emirati as well as US officials, and a possible normalization deal between Sudan and the Israel. And this comes after the Sudanese Justice Minister Nasser Eden Abdel Bari will meet the US official presence in Abu Dhabi to discuss the removal of Sudan as as one of the states sponsoring terrorism. And Sudan is also requesting a $3 billion humanitarian package from UAE as well as US, and in return of what? A possible normalization deal with Israel.
Taj Mahal Spice and Rice. For over 80 years, Osman's Taj Mahal have been perfecting the art of the perfect blend of spices, pure, aromatic, and well-seasoned. Spices to tantalize your taste buds. From creative cuisines to gastronomical gourmet goodies, from exotic odors to traditional dishes, Osman's Taj Mahal have remained synonymous with quality spices and condiments. Taj Mahal rice, beans, and lentils. Try our range of chili bite mixes, rose and ilachi syrup, our quick and easy biryani pack, and our traditional range of spice blends. Osman's Taj Mahal. There is no substitute for quality.
It's time to act now. COVID-19 is a global pandemic, and we need your help to flatten the curve. Islamic Relief is reaching out to the most vulnerable of our community in South Africa, Yemen and Gaza. 400 Rand can provide a family with a food pack in South Africa and 500 Rand a hygiene pack in Syria, Yemen and Gaza. With your help, we can save lives across the world. Donate now. Go to www.islamic-relief.org.za.
Fabric Direct, now open at 224 Brickfield Road, Overport, Durban, offering you a variety of dress fabrics, curtaining, upholstery, wallpaper, and decor. Fabric Direct, quality, price, and a range that speaks for itself. 224 Brickfield Road, Overport, Durban. Fabric Direct, definitely worth a visit.
With over 80 years of experience, IG Hussein and Company are renowned for their quality Islamic wear and goods. IG Hussein and Company stock a variety of Islamic items, musallas, kitabs, Medina dates, perfumes and exclusive gifts. We guarantee you a unique and friendly shopping experience for the entire family. Visit our new branch in Overport